Hello and welcome to Perspectives, where we take a deep dive into the issues of the day and where we take a look at people's opinion on such issues. I am Ruth, Osime.
And I am Olatorera, Majekodunmi-Oniru. Today's topic is fame, the ups, the downs, the highs, and the lows of celebrity life. We have very interesting discussions and special guests coming up, so please stay tuned.
The common perception about celebrity artists is that they have the best of everything. They are idolized and admired by many. Their lifestyles epitomizes luxury, connections, cruises, global travels, one successful hit after the other, and generally just living people's dreams. Every step they take, every move they make, anything they do is watched through microscopic lens. People cannot have enough of them. Their private lives are monitored and reviewed with great scrutiny. They cannot do things that ordinary folks do privately, as they literally live in a fishbowl. Being a celebrity can seem very appealing with all its benefits, but this lifestyle also comes with its downsides. Like an animal in a cage, celebrities always get attention, and if this attention is negative rather than positive, it can lead to bad consequences. The lack of privacy, the high expectations, limited freedom, lack of genuine relationships, constantly being in the eye of the public can make being a celebrity an overwhelming experience. Also, the pursuit of likes, followers, and validation on social media can also lead to detrimental effects on their overall well-being. Woe betide celebrities if they're involved in the scandal. They are attacked relentlessly and literally torn to pieces with no regard for their ability to absorb such savagery. This same fame that put them on a high pedestal can throw them mercilessly to the wolves when they fall short of expectations. If not properly managed, these issues can drive them to the brink, which is why some of them struggle with anxiety and depression throughout their lives in the public domain. But no matter what their circumstances are, celebrities are still human.
Celebrities are indeed still human. Fame, riches, power, glamour, on stage, millions of enthusiastic fans, winning, excitement, being well known and well liked by a multitude of strangers from all around the world can be one of the greatest feelings on earth. It takes great talent, a magnetic appearance, a strong desire for financial success, and the grit, the strength, and confidence to succeed as a celebrity in the long run. It all starts with the quest for fame, the desire to achieve dreams or live just like your role models, the desire to project your true art to the world. Many will do anything for fame. Life-threatening surgeries to alter their physical appearances, life-risking actions just to get your foot in that room or to get a phone call from that main man. Truth is, celebrities who handle fame most successfully were born to be famous, lived for it, desired it, worked hard for it, and they would do anything to maintain their fame, as their genuine happiness lies in being famous. Similarly, people who are most successful at leadership were born to lead. They have the passion, the zeal, the stamina, the ethics, the education, and the experience to evoke successful outcomes. Fame has very high moments of wealth, influence, admiration, and unbelievable opportunities, and very low moments of mental health issues, extreme image displeasure, and bankruptcy. Fame goes from drab to peacock, to a dangerous drug, to the killer of happiness, and then a disease of perfection that can get very lonely at the top. Intense discussions coming up shortly, but let's watch this special report. Perspectives, we'll be right back.
Fame. A lot of people wish for it, and when they get it, they always have a hard time handling the baggage that comes with it. It's fun watching your favorite celebrities on television being mobbed by fans, living a life of luxury, and say to yourself that you want to just be like them. But what they hardly show you is all the troubles they go through behind the scenes, how their private life is not open to the public, and they hardly have space to live like every normal individual. Celebrities get special treatment wherever they go, from special seats at theaters to special tables at restaurants. Celebrities are given the advantage of being the preferred customers everywhere they go. One of the very obvious advantages of being famous is that fame generally brings lots of fortune. Luxurious homes and cars, fancy gifts, expensive clothes, and other materialistic pleasures of life converted from a dream to a reality when people become famous celebrities. Many opportunities arise when people become famous. When they become famous, more opportunities arise in life, whether they are career-related or not. However, famous people can't do everything the average person can, because being famous or celebrity can attract stalkers, as your celebrity status can attract too many fake friends. Fame should be a blessing, but if not properly handled, might become a burden, as maturity and exposure to a great extent determines what you make of fame and what you get out of it. It can be like a two-edged sword. Today on Perspectives, we'll be taking a look at all the baggages that fame brings and how we can deal with it.
I was looking out for Davido, looking out for Whiskey, looking out for Burna Boy. Yeah. We have our own fair share of international celebrities now. You can fall our hand for them. We should have shown our own people because we too have famous people. Anyway, as you can see, fame comes with its own price. And I also think people exploit famous people. If you are in their entourage or you're with them constantly, you will know their strengths and their weaknesses. And you will be able to at least sort of curb their excesses. And I think most times, celebrities are not surrounded by people that will tell them the truth or bring them in, which is why we get all these scandals left, right, and center. I
think you're right, because the most successful celebrities tend to have their family as that backbone. They surround themselves with people that they've known forever. If you look at the likes of Burna Boy, his mom, his sisters, everybody's involved. Even Beyonce, her parents raised her up in that celebrity world. She's been one of the most successful celebrities. Hasn't had any significant downfall. Exactly, very scandal-free. Yeah. But the ones that have been really brutalized, they've just tried to surround themselves with people from the public, try to hire whoever can, come on board their team, and then they get,
Yeah, I think there's also the tendency to be a bit excessive. First and foremost, obviously, whatever it is that has made you a celebrity, something that you're very good at. And if you have that extreme talent, there's also the flaw, where you might also have an extreme flaw. Maybe you like women too much, or you're always too high, or you drink too much, or whatever. So I think, yes, like you said, if there's a family or somebody, it's very important that they have somebody that can talk to them as if they're normal. Absolutely. That can draw them in, because most of these people are filled with yes people. They're surrounded by people who just want to have a good time.
Exactly.
Do you understand? Because there are even moments when you need to get into your own space, develop your own music, or create yet another album, or what have you. So I feel bad. I feel bad that a lot of them are exploited. But I also hear that some of these celebrities are also very sensitive and, don't know how to say no. So people now also around them also now take undue advantage.
They don't know how to say no.
Yeah,
exactly. That me time is so important, because when you become a celebrity, everyone is needing something from you. I mean, you have millions of people watching you. Your emails skyrocket. Your phone calls skyrocket.
Exactly.
So you don't have that me time. And in order to cope, many of them now run into something that would help them cope.
Yes.
Either substance abuse, some become addicted to sex, and they just do whatever will help them have some sort of peace. But those substances are what ends up giving them that downfall. So overdose or, infidelity, those are the things that people now hold on to.
More because they get addicted to these pills or drugs that will keep them on a certain level where they don't have to entertain any sort of sadness or
Right,
depression.
exactly.
They're covering up so much, and there's so much
covering up
pressure
it's
to churn out
pressure.
hit after
It's
hit
pressure.
after hit. Whether you're a celebrity in the music industry
Yeah.
or in the film industry, you are living in a fishbowl.
Exactly, and so many people depending on you and watching you.
Exactly.
One wrong move and they'll say, "Oh, she's a bitch."
Exactly, and they're
he
vicious.
was rude at me,
Yes,
and then
they
they'll
are
comment.
vicious.
Very
the
vicious.
The attacks are
The
vicious.
negative comments are
Oh my God.
really
I don't know how they cope.
traumatizing. Yeah, some of them actually block it out. Like, I'm not reading any news about myself. I'm not looking at comments. I don't want to know. I don't care. I want
don't
to
know how
live
they
my
do
best
that.
life.
The worst ones are the has-beens. The ones that were once celebrities.
Oh, yes.
Used to this attention.
When that downfall
used to
comes,
this
I know.
fame. And then all of a sudden,
Nobody knows you.
deadening silence. Silence that is louder than a drum.
This is why many of them want to hold on to it for as
By
long as
all
possible.
means. By
Even when
all
it's
means.
killing them, even when they're not happy in the fame,
Yeah,
they're
but
like, I
sometimes
cannot come
in
down
pain,
from
you
it.
get your best job done in pain. It depends on how talented you are, and people get innovations from different emotions to be able to write an album or do something. So I just hope they can better manage themselves emotionally, mentally, and physically.
Right. If they were born for it, usually they can manage themselves.
Yeah, well,
but if it's just not for you,
there are too many
you have to
temptations.
retreat.
Even
And when
the
you now
ones-
retreat, loneliness, depression.
Even the ones that don't have money, gone. They have problem with women. Not to come and talk of when you are
Abi.
good looking, you are rich, and you have everything going
I think
for
it's
you.
just important to make sure that fame is for you before you get into it. It has its downsides.
Some people don't know how to handle it at a very young age. But we'll discuss more of this. We are heading for a short break, but stay with us. When we return, we'll be here with us Asika and Sasha P. Perspectives return in just a moment.
Welcome back to Perspectives here on Arise News. Moving on to introducing our guests for today. First off is Sasha P. Sasha is a seasoned professional in the African entertainment industry with a career spanning 19 years, which has seen her significantly contribute to the music, fashion, food, media, and entertainment industries. A multi-award-winning pioneer of the African hip-hop scene, she holds multiple credits for creative direction, project management, and artist coordination with the biggest award shows and festivals in Nigeria. Sasha is a strategist, creative visionary, power negotiator, and deal maker who continues to lend her voice to women empowerment, mental health, and breast cancer awareness. Fondly called the First Lady of African Hip Hop, she is currently the CEO of Purple Fire Entertainment. Sasha, big welcome to Perspectives. Glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Our second guest, Asika, is a veteran in the creative space. He is acknowledged as one of the key African voices in the cultural, creative, innovation, and sports sectors. He's the executive producer of film and TV, music and live events with a 30-year track record in this sector. His record label, Storms Records, led the globalization of Nigerian music and arrival of Afrobeats. He was the executive producer for the first Big Brother Nigeria in 2005 and also for The Apprentice Africa, Dragon's Den Nigeria, 100% Nigeria for Channel O, All Access Africa for Channel O, Vodafone Icons in Ghana, and Naija Sings in Nigeria. He also launched The Voice Nigeria. OB was chairman and co-founder of Social Media Week Lagos from 2012 to 2020, one of the largest new media conferences on the continent. Obi led the technical working group in 2019 to 2021 that brought the CCHT, Culture, Creative, Hospitality, Tourism Industries, to the Nigerian National Development Plan 2020 to 2015. Welcome to Perspective.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure even you were impressed
I'm
when
tired.
you saw your portfolio. You were like, is this me they are reading like this?
I was like, no, I was still looking at Sasha's.
Okay, don't blame me looking at Sasha. Those colors alone is eye blinding.
Wow.
Too kind, far too
Sasha
kind.
P.
Can I come here every morning?
Yes, so come and take my job, please.
Just take me
We
with
need
you.
to
I
vibrant
dare
blood.
not.
Just take me
Let
with
me
you,
just
man.
be-
Let me just be, I like to be
Let me
just
just be
the
walking
ladies.
past.
Walking past.
Looking bright.
Zoom in, zoom out with those colors.
Yes,
Anyway,
thank you.
as usual, Obi.
My sister.
You know, I love controversial topics. You know, and like I was saying to you last night, being famous comes with its benefits and its drawbacks. You know, people just believe that when you're famous, you have everything at your beck and call. Your life is there for you. You know, everything you want is there. People admire you. But there are drawbacks.
Of course.
So can you give us an insight? What the advantages and disadvantages, more the disadvantages, because we already know the advantages. What the disadvantages are of being famous?
Well, I think the thing is this, is that, what has happened in the last 20 years is we've gone from people who are famous for doing something to some people who are famous just for being famous, right? So there's two different types. But I think when we talk about artists, talents, musicians, actors, actresses, athletes, people who are doing stuff that brings them to the public spotlight. Of course, when you come to the public spotlight, everybody's interested in what you're doing. 20 years ago, it was about being seen less, right? So your superstar, your Tom Cruise or whoever, he would make a film that you wouldn't see him for 2 years. Today, he cannot afford to do that because you have social media. He has to stay engaged with that audience. Otherwise, by 2 years' time, in fact, in 2 weeks' time, they may not even be interested in checking. So the balance of how you engage and what you keep private has changed. So social media has brought people into the private lives of people who used to separate their private life from public scrutiny.
So there's no aura of mystery anymore?
Well, some people are able to keep the aura of mystery. If you look at Jay-Z, you don't see his private life.
That's true.
Yeah, so some people are able to do that, but it takes a lot of discipline. And a lot of people also, don't forget that the most talented people are also the most insecure, right? So these guys that you're seeing that look like superstars, the thing is, the hardest job in the world is probably to be a musician or an actor.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody's trying to be that thing. 0.01% ever gets to do it at a professional level and really sell tickets. And when you have that kind of situation, the pressure is incredible because the pressure is about making the next song, the next hit, and you can't buy that. It doesn't matter how talented you are. You can't determine that the thing you're doing is going to be working. And if it doesn't work, then you get the depression, the disconnection.
So that means you're under constant pressure.
Full time. You can ask Sasha. I mean, it's the intensity. I mean, people see social media and think, oh, these guys are just having fun. They're jumping from plane to plane. I said, when you fly anywhere, you're tired when you get off the plane. Yeah. So imagine, let me give you an example. Let's say last week, Davido plays at Afro Nation in Portugal, does a 2.5-hour set, which, of course, you're going to lose like 10 kilos when you do those kind of performances. 3 or 4 hours later, he gets on a plane to go to America, 10-hour flights, different time zone. The next day, he plays a sold-out concert, 20,000 people.
People don't really see that side of it.
Yeah. Listen, when you land there, you have to sound check, you have to check, you have to do press relations, you have to do a whole bunch. It's work.
But there are many of those that have to take that break for their health.
They all do.
And they do. And, sometimes they want to go quiet and then they come back out. What's that zeal that makes them want to come back out?
Well, look, it's like David. David was about to... he had announced a major festival in Atlanta last year, his own festival, his own name, in a sold-out arena. It was sold out, right? And then the tragedy happened. So he shut down, he went dark, and he had to go find himself, him and his wife, and do all those things. And then he came out on this run. And this run that he's come out on, Sasha will tell you, it's incredible. It's like 6 weeks of billions of streams. So many activations, the UK, Dubai, Europe, America.
What contributes to that? It's not just the strength within him, there's a team, there's
of course, now,
there's
his
the
team.
fans.
No, the team. It's this
but there's
team.
Also talent.
The team and the talent and the energy to put in the work to do. Listen, if you see an album of 14 tracks, they may have recorded 60.
Wow.
Yes, it's not like you wake up.
Oh, so it's not as if it's those 14 tracks.
No.
So you record at least about 60 for them to pick the best.
You keep
of the
working,
best.
keep working,
Oh my
keep working.
goodness.
And let's understand, Afrobeats is independent. Yes, we have distribution deals with global labels, but guys that built themselves, we built this thing ourselves. It's not like, this is an authentic African-Nigerian expression that is communicating and globalizing. I think Spotify just put out a report, 1.4 billion streams a month.
Yes, I heard that Wizkid made like $24 million or
Look,
something.
I'm not even getting into those numbers, but I can tell you that Afrobeats as a genre is at about 1.3 billion streams a month on Spotify. You can double that to Apple Music. You can go to YouTube. So you can see that globally, we are definitely one of the big forces emerging.
Okay, Sasha, I have to ask you, because you've worn those shoes. You've worn those shoes before, and you know what the lifestyle is like. But like Obi said, social media has taken it to a whole new platform. So how best do you think it is for stars or celebrities to manage their social media pages, whereby it doesn't affect them directly, especially when it comes to interactions with their fans, and they've done something or something has happened and they're being attacked savagely? Do you think they should cut off? How best do you think they should manage that?
So you know, they will always say that to be in the entertainment industry, you need to have a thick skin. But then these people, we people, are human beings too. And no matter how fortified or prepared you think you are, some things are still going to catch you off guard. I personally, I don't read comments because of the experience I had back in the day. Popular blog, you know, they'll post my picture, I'll go there and be reading comments. I learned my lesson really fast. So now...
How did it make you feel every time
I was depressed for a while. I actually fell into depression because of
these negative comments?
Yes, I think I met someone about 2 years ago who walked up to me and said she wanted to apologize. And I said, what for? She said, I used to write some really mean things targeted at you. And I had no reason to do that. I was just unhappy. But the thing is, there's so many people like that. I'm not going to meet everybody. Not everybody's going to have the presence of mind to come and apologize. But you cause real damage, you know. And so the way you protect yourself from these things is, first of all, I mean, we have social media managers now. You don't have to handle your account. And it's very important to be intentional about separating your private life from your work. Social media is a tool. It's a tool to help you amplify your platform. And sometimes you might have news or you hang out with your friends and you're excited and you're like, oh, let me share. But when you remember that this is like coming to work, I'm showing up at work, you have to know what to leave at home and what to leave in that space. And if you know that you don't have we all have different temperaments. We all have different triggers. If you know that something is going to trigger, let somebody manage the page. Just give somebody your social media account to manage. That's one way to like step away from the madness.
Okay, speaking of managing, Obi, this Davido's issue. I mean, as the last count, you know, there were like about 3 people or 4 people that are pregnant for him. And sometimes, you know, like we were saying earlier on, that sometimes these people, because they don't have that much time to decompress, maybe when they do decompress, it's a bit extreme. So do you feel that, I mean, someone like Burna Boy, for instance, we haven't heard anything about him. And Davido cannot be any more viral than Burna Boy. They're all young, viral young men. So how best do you think these people can be managed so that situations like this can be avoided?
Is it decompress?
Decompress as in let your guard down when you are relaxing or whatever.
I think, first of all, I think David has excellent management, you know.
If he has excellent management, why is he finding himself
his
stuck
personal
in this
life is his personal life.
It's personal, right?
But that's what I'm saying. That
no, but listen.
Isn't there a manager?
No, but even with Burna, just because Burna does not have kids does not mean he doesn't have his own issues. Everybody has issues.
Okay.
And in this society that we're talking about, because I read a lot of the stuff and people are busy moralizing. I say in this society where people who are in office have married juniors,
true.
where people
it's just unfortunate that his is in the public.
Well, no, it's not even that. I mean, I think, look, at the end of the day, I'm sure even if he thinks about it himself, you know, having kids all over the place is never helpful, right? But the thing about it is, you know, I think you have to also think about the fact that David, I think, you know, has come through a lot of pain.
Yes,
right?
he has.
And in coming through all that pain, the ways in which they get rid of it are personal to each individual. And even as a manager, you cannot be the person. You can only guide, support, and whatever. And sometimes when these things happen, it's about now managing the outfall.
But can't you do this such whereby he's not that exposed to that many
It is literally impossible. He's an adult. I mean, he's a grown man. He's been a grown man for 15 years. So
I know,
when you talk about it, look, that's not but.
If you know that's his weakness.
No, how is that necessarily his weakness? His weakness maybe should be wearing protection, right? Because I'm not going to moralize about... The first thing you should ask yourself is, every single one of these guys, anybody in this position, thousands and thousands of women are throwing themselves at you every second of every day. And it's happened for at least 100 years in this industry. Now, when you find yourself in this situation, that's your own, you have to take responsibility. And I think that's what he has to do.
I feel protective of him. Maybe I see him as a son kind of thing.
No, but
and I just feel
nothing
these
wrong with
women
that.
just take undue advantage.
Well, I think there's some of that as well.
I mean, come
There will
on.
be some of
There's some of that, but you can't say he's not, how would I put it? He has his own agency.
Okay, we're going on a break.
Yeah,
we're going on a
no
break
problem.
soon. But, you know, I just feel, you know, that there's something that can be done to curb
Well, I
these
think
excesses.
I think what has happened already, he's probably already curbed it. All this news that's coming out is probably
So
enough.
hopefully we won't be seeing
enough
any more.
Well, you know.
Anyway, we're going on a break soon. We'll continue with this, Obi. We're going on a break soon. Please grab your cup of tea as usual and then join us back on Perspective. See you soon. Obi, you know we were talking about this issue of condoms.
Yes.
So you were talking about this issue,
resuming
and you said,
please let us speak.
no, you said men don't like. Some men don't like using condoms. Eh?
I wouldn't know.
You were asking why Davido
Yes.
did not
Why
use
won't? Why
condoms.
does he use condoms?
I wouldn't know. That's a real answer. I mean, I think Sasha has a really good perspective on this. The truth of the matter is, when I see these claims in public space, I have no idea
When you
if
say
any of these
claims.
people are real. They're claims.
Okay,
Until he claims the child.
Yeah.
He
It's
would
a
never
claim.
do that. I don't
How
think he
do
would
you
ever
know
do that openly.
Why?
I don't think he would
If
ever
they're
do
his
that
child, I
openly.
think he would provide for
But I
them.
don't think he would. I mean, even if it's true or false, I don't think he would come
No,
out
I mean,
and
they're not going to
actually
come out
claim
and say
it.
anything. What I'm saying is, a lot of times in this industry, there are people looking to trip you up.
Yeah.
A lot of those people
Taking advantage.
Yeah, trip you up in many different ways, you know. And this is one of the standard ways, the honey trap, right? And he's a young guy.
is.
He's globally successful. He's a superstar,
And extremely talented.
Yeah, and everywhere he goes, there are women looking for him. So he's
Yeah, but
got.
is he the only one?
Well, there's
He's
a
not
lot
the
of
only one now. There are others like him.
Yeah, but the question is, look, I cannot speak to why he's, put himself.
No,
in this
I know you
position.
can't speak to why, but you also can talk about it generally because it's
Yeah,
your
of course.
field.
No, but what I'm saying is this: is that I don't think it's about moralizing about him. Do you understand? I don't
We're
think
just
so.
concerned about,
We can be concerned and we can say to you, my
Sasha, can
friend.
you tell us again why you said we should not believe anything we see and read on social media?
From experience, like I was saying earlier, I just don't believe anything I don't hear from the horse's mouth. Like if you call me and say, "Oh, did you hear this?" And because I'm in the industry, a lot of people see news, and then once they see it, they're sending me messages like, "What's your take on this?" And I'm like, I don't have any hot takes because I don't. These are human beings, and I've been there before. I've been on front pages. Then we even had front page. Somebody printed an actual newspaper headline and said that I was pregnant and said they saw me in the mall with my PA and said, "Oh, her Caucasian beau, she seems to be expecting." I'm like, maybe I ate a bit of pounded yam that day and now I'm pregnant and married to and this affected my personal life in so many different ways. My sisters are abroad, they're calling them, "You didn't tell us, so who's the father of the baby?" People still greet me, "How's your child?" Till
Can
today.
you imagine?
Do you understand?
How do people make
It was very,
suggestions?
very traumatizing.
Yes.
And I'm still going out every time. I'm getting on stage. I'm performing. I'm giving a good show. There are people snickering in the audience because of something they read. So I feel like you give grace to people, the sort of grace you would like to receive. So unless you say to me, "This is what happened," yes, I hear that information, but I'm not going to treat you any different. I'm not going to let what somebody has said color my image of you, because people are motivated for different reasons. You see all these international celebrities, sometimes it's even their family members that come and give hot takes about their life. Do you know how damaging that must feel? And people are motivated for different reasons. Yeah. So maybe somebody wants a quick buck, they'll decide that, what story can I tell? Because I'm related, they'll believe
Speaking
me.
of that,
Just to make money from
Speaking
it.
of that,
Absolutely.
so do you now think it's imperative that you surround yourself by trusted ones? Like Burna Boy, for instance, has his mother on his side. Do you now advise in moving forward other artists to ensure that at least in their crew?
Not always.
That's a
Not
blessing.
always. I mean, he's lucky.
He's
And
lucky.
his mother is a
astute,
unique
she's-
personality.
yeah.
But it is not the case that 90% of people need.
Yeah, but can they
mothers.
find someone that
But
they
they all
trust
do.
enough to be
But they
in
all
their
do.
entourage?
Listen,
You
the
trust
question
them
is this:
till
is
you
that
can't.
David is one of the 5 or 3 most successful artists ever out of Nigeria.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Ever out of the continent.
yes.
That's what the management has done with him. So the fact that he has had some of these personal issues, you cannot now come and blame that on his management.
No,
or even,
no, you
in
can't.
fact,
You can't.
and in reality, I'm not even blaming him. It's really about, look, life, choices, and what happens. It's real life, right? So if we want to start moralizing about it, we know where we live.
Don't get me. I don't think
Artists surround themselves with
Yes.
to just to prevent or to scale better in the industry. I would say, first of all, have an
team.
absolutely amazing lawyer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a great accountant, because a lot of people spend more than they earn and then they end up broke. And then I'd like to say a confidant, but this person is sort of like your road manager, somebody that you know,
That
somebody
knows
that
you
you
in and out.
Have their
respect,
moms as
somebody
their
that can
manager.
tell you when you're acting a fool,
Yes,
whether
yes.
you like to
Whether
hear
you like it or not. That's very
someone
important.
you respect. Everybody else is a moving piece because people come and go, and it doesn't mean that even these people might not be
Might not
damaging
shift.
to you at
Yes,
some point.
yes.
But if you always have those 3 people, you probably fare better.
But
Yeah.
speaking of that, you also have, I hate to use this word, I don't want to say has-beens. No, but you have people who were once extremely famous.
Of course.
And for some reason, the lights went off. And some of them have gone through mental depression. Of
course.
Because of this.
Yeah.
So why have they gone through that? Because, I mean, If it's your time, it's your time.
Well,
If your time
I
is
can give
over,
a
it's
perspective,
over.
but she can probably speak to
So
that.
can you tell us?
So it's a very broad thing. People get depressed for so many different reasons. And I don't think particularly that it's not being in the limelight that makes people depressed. Sometimes it's the way relationship dynamics change. It's the way people treat you. Because as a consummate artist, I do not know that there are many people who want fame, if I'm being honest.
Exactly, that's not the choice.
Really?
A consummate
You're not
artist,
chasing
you're
fame.
not chasing fame. Yes, when you come out and you do your job, it's fine to be in the spotlight. But the moment you're done, you really just don't want any attention. That's my experience. So, and I know that a lot of people resonate with that in the creative space. So first of all, if you're even there because of fame, you're probably there for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And then you get depressed because you've been seeking this validation and it's no longer there. But if you're not there because of that, it might be, the behind the scenes, what people don't see. The people you thought were your friends, you now call them and say, oh, I have this new idea. And they're like, I'll call you back. And then you're like, So
Well, they don't
realizing that a lot of the things that were surrounding you weren't because these people actually cared about you. It was because of
I
what
think
they
that
could get.
applies in every...
In any field,
Well, this is it.
exactly.
This is
So
it
it's
now.
exactly the same thing even in entertainment. So,
The one that baffles me, though, is the ones that even their family members cannot tell them, take a break. So the likes of when we see Nelly stammering on stage, when we see, who else out there? But just celebrities who have pushed themselves to the brink of depression, brink of suicide.
you can't
How
really
did it
push
get
Look at
yourself
that
yourself.
girl now. Look at Amy
Winehouse.
Winehouse.
I don't,
Whitney Houston. There's so
depression
many
is
of
very
them.
subjective,
Yes.
and you can be at the top of your game, appear to be the most successful person, and be depressed because you have childhood trauma that is triggered by the fact that Drake
What's
has
your
a
doing?
song. I'm in a room full of people, and I don't know any of them.
Yeah, but sometimes that trauma
There's
is
trauma.
what-
Everybody's carrying something.
But that trauma
different.
is
Why
what
can't they
gives
take
them
that break, though?
inspiration for their song.
But you have to
Well-
be self-aware enough to know you need a break. I recommend therapy, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Because
swear
think,
by it.
yeah.
So you think one of the calming effects, but what other form of calming effects can you have?
In
Can
terms
you
of-
encourage for this artist to
Well, all
embrace?
the most successful artists, which is what people don't realize, no artist is successful without a team.
Yes.
It's not possible. So whether you look at Jay-Z and you think, oh, Jay-Z owns his label, there's 150 people that work at Rock Nation just to make sure that everything makes sense. So you have to have a back team. She talked about some of the core team members. She talked about therapy. You talk about the situation where you have to have a situation where artists generally, if we're talking music specifically, but artists generally, being out of the limelight is tough for anybody. I always tell people that when you think of your favorite Hollywood actor or actress and you haven't heard of them in a long time, it's not that they're rich at home. They haven't been hired. That's what it is. They haven't been hired. And to be hired, it means that the casting people don't see you anymore as a
Which
valid
is slightly different
option.
from what you said.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing with music, because in music, you've been making music 10 years and you can't get a hit record. But you were a superstar before.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you stopped making music, just means somehow your music is not connecting, right? That is a challenge that happens to a lot of artists. It happened to Michael Jackson, the greatest artist of all time. Michael had an 8-year period where really his music
like,
wasn't connecting, right?
coming up
But
short,
then he
yeah.
died, then he became the biggest selling again, right? Because
That's
suddenly
because
the
he died,
attention came back, exactly. So my view about these things is that everybody's different. Managing success, it's sort of like you need to try to be balanced. So you're the same on the way up as you are on the way down. Because there's always
But that's so
a
difficult,
come down.
though.
It's extremely
If
difficult.
you've worn those shoes, if you've been adored by so many, and then anywhere you go, people are running after you, blah, blah, blah.
That's why people like Sasha are special. Let me just tell
say
you.
that validation is for parking. And that's the thing. You have to be able to
Validation
choose.
for what?
It's for parking. They want to park you valet. That's what validation is for. Because if you live your life
using that
based
quote,
on
man.
what people think or how they treat
But it's
you.
difficult not to.
It's difficult not to, but it's a journey.
journey.
So it's like I go through something and I say, I don't like the way this makes me feel. What do I do about it? I figure out how to not
That's
feel this
because
way.
you want those
That's it.
shoes.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
can say that
so
now.
I'll go and buy self-help books. I'm looking for an answer. I'm looking for how do I not feel this way? And what I arrived at is that you have to be self-aware. You have that song, Learning to Love Yourself, is the greatest. It's not a joke. And a lot of people don't love themselves, let's be honest.
Yes.
So being
That's a
able
big
to
issue.
love yourself as in good, the bad, and knowing that,
Very
look,
important.
I always tell people, I work in production, right? And so some people, even as an artist, I worked on on award shows and everything, and I'm backstage with other artists, my peers, and somebody says, oh, I need to buckle my shoe, and I'm on my knees, and Sasha, don't do that. I'm like, what's the big deal? Because there's an idea that because I can bend down and assist my colleague, they're suddenly superior to me.
Oh.
But I know what I carry. So if you see me moving chairs somewhere, best know that I'm helping out. I know what I'm doing. It does not reduce who I am in any way. The reduction is from you, and that's your perspective.
But you're saying this now because you're almost talking to the younger Sasha. You're saying this now because you've won.
He can tell you, even as a younger Sasha.
No, what I'm saying is that you're talking from experience.
Yes, absolutely.
Like if you knew now, if you knew then what you knew now,
it would have been much easier.
Exactly.
I would have been much happier.
So what you're doing now is that you're telling the younger ones who are now in the same boat, that find yourself,
know
blah,
who
blah,
you
blah,
are,
blah.
and enjoy yourself, enjoy your company, and understand that your success is not determined by the hit record. You know, you have to treat accolades the same way you treat constructive criticism. You have to take it on the chin, because you know that's how you can control how you express in the world, because you can't control the sort of people you come in contact with. Even if you think you've learned something, somebody throws a spanner in the works and then you're triggered in a different way that you didn't even know. So there's always going to be something. Now, that's how you center.
Obi.
Yes.
Now, there's one thing that superstars don't have, which is privacy. So how, after what Sasha has now said, you now are managing one of these top, how can you ensure that they get some private moments to themselves? Because people are stretching them left, right, and center. So whose role is it in particular to ensure that he gets his much needed sleep or she gets her much needed rest?
I think you'll find that it's always the personal managers, the business manager who's the personal manager, and they do their jobs. And the thing about it is, it has to be done intentionally, and it's a 24/7 job. They live. It's like hand holding plus
like
body
marriage.
protection. Yeah, exactly. So
Like a marriage.
my artist is sleeping, now I can fall asleep. I'm awake before him, so I have to wake him up. We're moving at this time, I'm the one getting him up. We're going here, that's what they do.
So you must have access to the to your
No, that's how they move 24/7. It's not, and it's very intentional, and it's very, very focused, and it's very professional. Because one thing that happens is you cannot be super successful if you're not professional. If you're not showing up on time for events, press, media, rehearsals, you can't do it.
So you believe most artists are better off with someone like their mother as their manager?
No.
Tell me about that. Because a lot of the successful ones,
there's not
Beyonce, her dad was there.
Beyonce grew up when she got rid of her dad.
Exactly.
But she
Usher got rid of her
dad.
mom, got rid of his mom. A lot of times the parents are trying to live their own lives out through the kids. So we need them out of the picture. That's the reality
How
of
can you
it.
trust someone that just came into your life 5 years
If they
previous?
understand
because
it,
they know
if you
how they
have the
came together.
chemistry, like if they understand your personality, sometimes it just has to be symbiotic. And I just wanted to add that aside from the person that's managing, it's also the artist. I think it's okay for creatives to understand. It's okay to say I'm tired. It's okay to say I need a break. Because sometimes when you're at the top of your game and you have a calendar full and they're like, everybody wants to see you, but you feel like you're letting people down when you want to rest. So you have this failure thing like, oh, if I don't go, and then you have imposter. You're dealing with so many things already. So if you wake up that morning and you like...
But then again, you're also more highly charged.
And they return your money because money is not everything.
No, it's not about the money. Sometimes you're just highly charged.
No, but
there's the adrenaline, but if you're tired, you're tired.
Yeah, but that's also what happens sometimes.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what happens sometimes with the artist.
You
She
need to say, I'm tired.
hey, Sasha, you can't do this one.
You can't.
There has to be somebody that says
I
that.
wouldn't sleep.
We're going on the break soon, and then we will conclude on this issue. Please don't leave us. Come right back to Perspectives in the next 5 minutes. You know, it's just that we don't have enough time. Because that's Kardashian topic. I was going to slug it out with you. But let's talk about our own, I beg you. We never finish our own, we talk Kardashian. So, you spoke about transitioning. So can you elaborate more on that? You said two things. And first and foremost, it's more difficult to manage a female artist than it is to manage a male artist.
Yes.
And then you also spoke about transitioning from being a famous superstar to now becoming a normal person.
Well, the normal person are still relevant in your industry.
Or still relevant in your industry,
Maybe
but
not on stage.
Not on stage.
Yeah.
From being on stage now, being relevant in the backstage. So let's first start with the...
Managing a female artist.
Yes, managing...
Okay,
what's the difference?
classic example, it's much harder. First of all, women costume changes is a big thing.
Yeah, but men too also have
Nothing close to that.
Okay, hair.
So hair, makeup,
That's true.
styling,
Hair,
makeup, styling,
Security.
Right? So I'll give you an example. I met Sasha when she was 17. Right? LD brought her. I was like, listen, I think this girl's incredible. We want to sign her.
Where's LD?
LD's in Atlanta. I think it's incredible. We want to sign her. We're like, okay. So we want to work out what she's like, what's she about. You know, we want to make sure. So met her. So man, she's really real. Sasha has not changed. Everything you're hearing, she was this articulate then, right? So we're thinking, okay, First Lady of Hip Hop, I gave her the title. And she's been that for 20 years. And we're sitting there and we're thinking, other artists, but we've got to protect her. She's a female artist. So Sasha's going out on a show. We're making sure our guys are there with her. You're not just going to come and approach her and address her and have access. Do you understand? Whereas if it's a male artist, I'm not thinking about it like that. But the female artist, I'm thinking about that all the time. So that wherever she's going, because as she said, in those days, it was City People and all these magazines. They talk all sorts of nonsense. But you know what? We just ignore those guys. No retractions. They just lie. Not them, but a lot of these platforms. So you just say, you learn. And she said, all the artists had to learn, ignore that. There's always going to be hate. There's always going to be people who are negative. There are people who are putting you down who've never done anything, but you are doing something and you're making it real.
But is there any such? But some people say publicity is publicity.
Well,
whether good or bad.
Yes, of course. But the thing is, depending how you use it. So if you can use that negative energy to fuel yourself forward, right? So that's what happened. She's the only female rapper to win MTV Bass Awards, Best Female, and it's not for rapping. And she won. Channel O, she's won it. This is continental, it's not Nigeria. So you've got to first respect that. She's one of the best performers this country ever produced as a female artist. That's why the reason, when she transited, and she does a lot of different things now, but for years she's been the live producer for Rhythm Unplugged. People don't know that. So when the artists are coming out,
I usually don't want to employ this man as a PR officer.
No, but think
This is my first for life. This is why you signed me.
As your PR officer, it's a fantastic
the thing
job.
is, you got to give the respect.
Yes, of course.
Because for me, I'm proud. I'm like, okay, Sasha, so who's performing this year? And he said, no, I don't want this person because he doesn't have the energy. That one, I've told him. And when you watch the performances, I know.
You can see
I can watch from here and I say, okay, yeah, Sasha's been in his ear because last time he was a bit whatever. Because a lot of artists, they don't understand. Every time you perform on stage, you don't know who's watching.
Absolutely.
The person who's watching could be there to change your life.
Funny story. The person that signed Yemi Alade signed her watching her perform with me at the Sound City Awards. And, you know, we did this dance at the end and I did like a drum sequence and that's where he saw her. So you never know. Like, I leave it all on the stage. That's my favorite part.
And you're still contributing to the industry.
Well, this is it.
On a major
I mean, she's
scale.
worked in agency, she's worked with collections, she's worked with live. And that is what you need because then you're still fulfilled.
I just do the work.
She does the work. And you see, the thing about it is, like, in the industry, we know. So the industry knows who are the people that, if you're looking to wake up in the morning, who are the people that do this? You call 2-3 people.
Yeah.
You will know who's doing what. And that's where you want to be as a more senior person, right? Where you're still relevant, you're still connected. The artists respect you because they know you've done it. It's not if, but maybe she's done it. And that's why she has credibility. Do you understand? And the thing about it, a lot of times in Nigeria is maybe we're not celebrating the moments we're building as big as we are. That's why for me, the negative conversation is irrelevant.
Yeah.
We came from nothing. Afrobeats is a startup industry.
We're missing
I'm part of the National
so
Startup
much.
Act. I told them I have to give them a plug. I was part of that process, but I always tell them, so the first startup industries in Nigeria are Nollywood and Afrobeats. Nobody gave anything to anybody.
And it's so phenomenally successful.
It is,
now.
and we should be
But you know why?
celebrating
You know why?
it.
Because it's based on the Nigerian people. It's our IP, it's our expression. So as Afrobeat is globalizing, what's it taking with it? It's taking the culture,
The
food, the dance, the energy, the attitude. And that is what we bring to the world. And that's actually our biggest export. It's not our oil.
It is, and it's phenomenal. I mean, you go any part of the world. And
does it make you feel good when you hear?
I mean, I was like, yeah, African, are you
yes.
Nigerian? You know, Burna Boy, they're playing our music everywhere. And like you said, we should be celebrating the moment and stop
These
getting
guys-
distracted.
Not only that, they sing the lyrics.
We've come so far.
They sing the lyrics as well.
There's a chap called, I got to give him a shout out, Shope
Master,
Yeah, so if you go on his Instagram page, and he does it every day, and I've stolen it from him, these guys are ambassadors.
Yeah.
Right? Our Afrobeats artists are the first ambassadors
It's the
for
best
Nigeria.
product we've ever had of Nigeria.
And the world is just buying into that. And what we need to do is get on the train.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Nigeria needs to get on the train to support that. That's why I'm so happy that Afro Nation is coming home to Lagos and a lot of other things.
I'm also happy that our talent has spoken for itself. We didn't need government sponsorship. We didn't,
Not
this is
at all.
just raw talent that we've taken around the world,
Built
that they
with
play in football
tears
stadiums,
and
that we're
passion.
entertaining millions and millions of people.
I like that you said startup.
Yeah, and then when you not even hear them singing the
Yeah.
chorus,
Yeah.
even if you don't understand the language, you hear them
Makes
singing
you
the
so
chorus.
proud. And for us, it's
Yes.
like even us in the entertainment industry, everybody's win is our win.
Yes, of
So
course.
when you are on social media and you see them fighting, and that's not how I feel personally, and I know I speak for a lot of people. It's like,
Okay.
you got an award. We're happy
Period.
because it
Love
means
it.
somebody else can do it. It
Love
means
it.
I might not have even dreamt that far. Oh, you did it. It means it's possible. It's like we're moving collectively.
The unity
and
builds the industry.
There's a unity
20 years, we were
behind
trying
these
to get
things.
attention.
It's the fans that
Right.
are fighting.
I'm
the
trying to get
battles.
attention for
The
20
narrative
years.
has changed.
David performed on main stage at the BET Awards. That's never
Burna
happened.
Boy too won
Yeah.
best
Do you understand?
international
Those
album.
but Burna
conversations,
Boy
they used
will
to
perform at the
put
Grammys
artists
next year.
on a
Oh my
separate
God.
stage.
On stage, that's what we're
African
talking
artists
about.
did not
Anyway.
attend the shows. They used to
Yeah,
be on
we
a
used to be
separate
backstage.
stage. So the fact that
Stage.
you're performing on it is a moment in
major.
time.
Moment.
It's major.
We're
Thank
proud
you
of the
so much.
industry
We're
and the
so
pioneers.
proud. We're so proud.
And the people
We're
who
so
have
proud because
supported the rise.
you are the titans. You are the you know the big people backstage.
The big masquerade.
Well, thank you so much, Obi.
Thanks for
Thank you so
having
much,
us.
It's a
Sasha.
pleasure.
I mean,
It's a
time
pleasure
is
to
never
be
long enough, but it's a pleasure to have experienced this with you and share it with our audience. Thank you so much for being
Thank you
here.
so much.
so much.
Keep supporting the beat, man.
Oh, yes, we would. Unfortunately, in our society, the set of standards for famous people is so high that it's not possible to achieve them. But big mistakes give you a chance to learn. You create boundaries between the public and your personal life. Surround yourself with well-earned, trusted few. Stick to those not afraid to tell you the truth, regardless of your status. I see you guys nodding. Enjoy every bit of your success because you have worked extremely hard to attain it. But learn to make wiser, smarter decisions that will affect you in future after the lights have gone out. You are the owner of your life. And always remember, as I keep saying, life is a learning curve. That's all we have time for today. You've been watching Perspectives here on Rise News with me, Ruth Osime.
And with me, Olatorera Majekodunmi-Oniru. Not everyone will be globally recognized, but if fame is highly desirous to you, being best with an artistic talent will get you there faster and longer than 15 minutes of risky virality. Push your dreams in a focused, ethical, intelligent, and confident manner, and all your heart desires will manifest extrinsically and intrinsically. Intrinsic happiness and greater humanity are two keys to a better world today. Our world needs a much stronger dosage of healthy love, care, and intrinsic happiness. Thank you for watching Perspectives. Thank you to our special guests for joining us today. Have a great weekend and see you all very soon. Goodbye.